My Amplified Unit, BC's Pro Wrestling Amplified Podcast, episode number 21. It's going down right now. Later on in the show, we're going to go over the entire preview for WWE Stomping Grounds. That's right, it's like a trip to the dentist. It's going to be painful. It's going to be miserable. But don't you ditch me now, Amplified Unit. If I got to go through this, you're all coming with me. Dragging you to hell. Also later on, guys, I want to talk the 24/7 championship. Just as I envisioned it, I would have liked it on WWE television. I would have strung this out through multiple segments. But RTruth did in fact crash Drake Maverick's wedding. They put it up online. As of the filming of this, it's already over 100,000 views. And it's only been up for about 25 minutes. So do the math. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, well, you know what? That's if we have time. There's a big opening monologue. A big opening monologue I have to get to, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to anything else other than the two other segments that I aforementioned. My opening monologue is going to be deep. We're talking CM Punk again, and you know this is always some deep conversation when I'm talking CM Punk. For those of you that don't know the history between Punk and I, it's pretty simple. He went to the UFC, he played the hot shot, big shot CM Punk main eventer over in UFC, and he got knocked on his ass a couple of times. Hey, at least he tried it. That's cool, but what I do on here is I review. He's a big mega superstar in WWE, so I reviewed his fights. I was honest, truthful to the core, and apparently he didn't like it. He found me on social media and blocked me. He was upset with the Amplified Man. That's cool, man. I got no issue with people blocking each other on social media. If somebody's being a dipshit, if somebody's out of line, out of bounds, being disrespectful, block their son of a bitch and ass. Boop! One flick, one snap. They're out of existence. That's cool. I question the validity of the boot. It's not like I went on social media and dragged CM Punk. I left a truthful review of his UFC fights, and he proceeded to get pissed off and block me. Now, maybe it also had something to do with a video I put out a long time ago saying that if it wasn't for CM Punk, AJ Lee would have been in WWE at least a few times just to say hello. Like Evolution, the first ever all-women's pay-per-view, or Royal Rumble, just to have a spot. Even if she's injured, she doesn't have to really take any severe bumps. She goes in, she'll get a cool little 5-minute storyline in the event, maybe rekindle an old flame. That's how she gets eliminated. A little final curtain call. She could have been in WWE to say hello several times, even if she lost her passion, as some AJ Lee fans say. It's not CM Punk, BC. AJ Lee lost her passion. Yeah, okay, right around the same time as her husband did. Okay. She's injured, BC. It's a neck injury. Yeah, keeping her out of wrestling forever? Yeah. She can't even come back and say hello? Yeah. No. This is all because CM Punk is her husband, and she's staying true, the good wife, if you will. And we've seen the last of AJ Lee because CM Punk said we've seen the last of CM Punk. One should not hinder on the other. AJD, that's her sister, AJD. AJ Lee didn't have beef with the McMahons like Punk did. AJ Lee could have came back, said hello to her fans, let the fans show that respect and love back to AJ Lee. But no, Punk has this big issue, and guess what? They're two peas in a pod. Husband and wife. Well, if that's marriage, you can fucking take it and run with it. I want nothing to do with that type of shit. I'd be sitting my spouse down and saying, listen, I'm with you. I got you. I love that shit. The only time it was really miserable is when fucking you left and the locker room was kind of divided. You're like the root of all the misery. I love ya. I do. I got to fucking go and get my own money, dog. I have to go and do what I love. Or I at least want to show up at this event and say hello. She doesn't even have that option. That's what pisses me off. And evidently, these videos always come across CM Punk, and he wanted to block me on social media. Again, I never sent this guy one thing on social media. He found me. That's how upset he was. Hey, man, that's the nature of the business. You know, if you're going to be out there and you're going to put yourself in positions that are going to be critiqued, accept anything and everything. I'm not just going to stroke your ego like everyone else does. No, I'm going to give it to you straight, up close, personal, straight, hard to take in facts. If you can't deal with it, then yes, go ahead and block. And again, if you really feel like somebody's being disrespectful, block them. If I'm disrespectful to you, CM Punk, then block the fuck out of me. I got you. Got no beef with CM Punk. I see him anywhere. I'll buy him a fucking coffee. We'll shoot the shit about the fucking Cubs, the Blackhawks, wrestling if he wants to. We'll talk about how the sun sometimes turns orange on nice, beautiful summer nights. I don't care what he wants to talk about, but I'll have a coffee with him. Or if he wants to go out into the parking lot and throw a few rounds to get some revenge, I'm down, bro. But there's no beef. So what is this all leading to? That's the backstory with CM Punk and I, guys. I critiqued a lot of what he did back in the day. I do think he is the biggest reason why AJ Lee has not even been seen in the pro wrestling world. When she loved wrestling so much, she got a tattoo on the back of her neck of the day she won the Divas Championship. That's how much this business and profession meant to her. And then it's no coincidence that the day CM Punk left the company and had that big fallout, from that day on, nothing was ever the same again for AJ Lee. I get it. You stand behind your spouse. Husband and wife, you stick together. But damn, that is a tragedy in the pro wrestling world. That 2 careers ended because one took their ball and ran home because they decided, what am I doing with my life? I don't like this anymore. You come with me. We're 2 peas in a pod now. No, that pisses me off, and to this day, it irks me that 2 careers had to end because of one. Don't feed me the injury shit. She's injured, she can't wrestle anymore. No, there was injuries. She maybe can't wrestle full time. She'll be the first to admit, total truth, total disclosure, she can go several more rounds. But at least show up at an event or 2. Say what's up. Collect a quick little payday. Let the fans show their respect. Come on, bro. Don't feed me that shit. She lost her passion is another. Bullshit. Tattoo on the back of her neck of the day she won the Divas Championship, and 2 years later, I don't like this anymore and I'm going away forever. What? Doesn't even make sense. You were the best at all time in your mid-20s. You had another 15 fucking years. You didn't even have to wrestle. Vince McMahon loved you so much, he put you as a GM. He put you in the highest roles possible. And what the fuck? She just leaves, never comes back. Gee, the same time, basically, a little ways after, even after that CM Punk left the company, by the way, McMahon loved her so much, he threw the title on her again. But it became too much for AJ Lee. The locker room started looking at CM Punk like a douchebag. She didn't like that, so then she had to leave, obviously, had to leave. Anyway, my point is this. That's the whole backstory. I left these videos about his UFC fights, and I didn't hold anything back. I left my opinions and thoughts of how I feel about the AJ Lee situation. I didn't hold back. He didn't like that. He blocked me. That's fine. So I can no longer see his fucking tweets. Oh no, how will I ever go about life? But Wrestling Hoopla, who follows me over on the Twitter machine, he sent me something, and he didn't know, evidently, that Punk had blocked me, but he retweeted something Punk said. Now, when you're blocked, I can't get the actual tweet from CM Punk, so I only got Wrestling Hoopla replying or retweeting it with my mention in it, my name. So, I had to do some digging, and after my research, unfortunately, come to find out that I have unsurfaced the exact quote from CM Punk. This is the quote from CM Punk on Twitter that he left. This is a tweet. I'm calling it a quote because this is word for word. I'm not paraphrasing. Oh boy, and I can't help but laugh because here we go. This is another person who basically, it's the don't like it, don't watch type of people. And they just will never understand a true wrestling fan, and even more specifically, a true WWE fan that actually loves this and is passionate about it, wants to see it do better, and we're not just going to give up and quit on it. They just don't understand. But first, I'll read you what CM Punk tweeted out. This was last night. He tweeted this. I quote, "Since I can't have fun and tweet about movies or baseball without you telling me about wrestling," that's what he put, wrestling. He can't even say wrestling. "Question for you. Why do you spend your time on something you hate? If it's so," that's right, 6 O's, "so bad, leave it. I did. Works wonders. I look forward to the intelligent discourse." That's what CM Punk wrote. I got a question for you. Why do you spend your time on something you hate? If it's so bad, leave it. I did. It works wonders. I look forward to the intelligent discourse. That is the biggest miscommunication with this whole shit. The biggest barrier between the don't like it, don't watchers and the people that are not going to give up ever. The biggest disconnect is the word CM Punk used when he said, question for you, why do you spend your time on something you hate? Keyword hate. Nobody that is critiquing this product, that company, that I know of anyway, hates WWE. We are critiquing it to the point that we are. To the point of frustrations, the peaks that we are hitting, new levels of frustration because we love it. It's the exact opposite of hate, CM Punk. Some schmucks might go around and hate the product, hate WWE, and in that case, I don't know what the fuck they're doing talking about it. It's like the people that hate Donald Trump, yet they spend 23 hours of the day talking about Donald Trump. I'll never understand it. You hate the guy, leave it. He's not going anywhere for 4 fucking years. You hate him, that's fine. That's your prerogative. That's all they'll talk about. I understand, Punk. I'm actually in agreement with those type of people. But Punk, what you're not realizing is that the majority of the critiquers that you're seeing on your feed, your followers, they're critiquing because they love it. Just like you love your Blackhawks or your Cubs, CM Punk. Think about that. WWE is like a sports team. And we all know that our sports teams, we critique them because 90+% of the time, our sports teams are making mind-bogglingly stupid decisions. We yell, we scream during the games at the managers or the play of our favorite players. We scream, we critique, we're negative. After the game when we lose, we call them every name in the book, we flip out. But we love them. The next morning, we're rooting them on. We're right there. We're paying our money. Basically paying their salaries. We're showing up. We're buying the merchandise. We're there for them. It's a fan. We love it. You don't just give up when they're bad. My Packers, CM Punk. My Packers, do you remember Don Majkowski? Way before Brett Favre, CM Punk. There was a quarterback named Don Majkowski. In that era of the Packers, we were one of the worst teams in the league. I didn't give up when I was a kid. I flipped out, especially as a kid. Maybe even shed some tears. I didn't give up. I had all the merchandise. I bought all their shit. I rooted them on. I cheered them on. I never gave up on them. We ended up winning Super Bowls. 2 different quarterbacks. Brett Favre, my boy. Aaron Rodgers. Hopefully more in the future because I didn't give up. If I gave up on the Packers, I would have missed those glory days. They would have happened. I would have seen it on TV or watching it as a non-fan anymore. And I would have been saying, man, I was a fan, man. This would have been a moment. I didn't give up. My Knicks have had one bad season, one horrendous, tragic season after the next. I don't give up on them. You don't want to listen to New York sports talk radio, CM Punk, because that's all these professionals do, is they critique, they're negative, they bash the Knicks. Rightfully so. They suck in every way imaginable. Top to bottom, start to finish, beginning to end. From the management to the players, everything on this team just does not click. And we tell you so here in New York City. Nobody gives up on them. What is up with this quitting mentality? You critique it, you're negative. You must hate it. You must give up. You must stop. I'm not gonna give up something I fucking love. Because you can't handle it? You left WWE, you kept your name CM Punk. If you really moved on like Dwayne Johnson did, and not just referring to himself as The Rock, you wouldn't be CM Punk today. Why are you just living off of your WWE famous name? You took all of the benefits when you got the main event spots at UFC. You didn't mind that. Or when it comes to a big signing and you know you're going to get some good money, you're right there with your CM Punk name. Why not Phil Brooks up on social media on all your tags? Why not go as just Phillip? Really leave your pro wrestling and persona behind. If you want to start something else and you really want a nickname, create a new nickname. That's simple. I know my following. It's majorly pro wrestling. And more specifically, WWE. So if I just decide to do something else, if I just go to baseball and that's it, maybe I just go as BC Energized. But no matter what I go by, I'm going to know that I made my name in pro wrestling. That's how people know me, and that's why they tune in, and that's why they love me. Or hate me. Either way, they're tuning in. So I have to know that no matter what I do in the future, I'm going to get pro wrestling talk. You got to be okay with that, or don't call yourself CM fucking Punk and stay that active on Twitter, and then be absolutely mind-boggled when people want to majorly talk pro wrestling with you, or wonder when you're coming back, if ever, even if you tell them a million times you're not. You left at the peak, the pinnacle, basically, of your career, still young enough to do this shit. We know for a fact that you still come up to the indies under a mask, under a different identity, and you still drop some wrestling moves here and there. We know that for a fact. You were caught and called out a couple of months ago. So we know it's still in you. So of course these questions are going to arise. You got another company that is the exact opposite of how WWE runs itself, is willing to give you millions of dollars, healthcare, all the shit that you said WWE didn't do for you. This company is willing to do such. They're coming to Chicago in August. People are going to ask you shit, bro. You're CM Punk. If you want to go by Phillip Brooks and go about business totally differently, then that's another thing. You play the victim. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't be the hero and going to UFC with your CM Punk name, not even having one fight, but getting a main event because you're CM Punk. But then you're also, when you're not want to play the hero, you're going to play the victim. I can't go on social media and have fun and tweet about movies and baseball, he said. Oh! Should we stroke your fucking ego till you go to bed? Should we read you a bedtime story? Do you need some fucking hot cocoa and some cookies to get you to bed at night? You're gonna play the victim? You can't have fun on social media and talk about movies and baseball. No, because you built your fan base and wrestling fans. Nobody gives a fuck about your favorite movie or what your baseball team, their position they're in. You can add that shit in. That's a fun little TMI type tidbit. That's fine. Hey, my baseball team, right? We all do that. But not 24/7. Not totally acting like pro wrestling doesn't even exist. When 90+% of your following are pro wrestling fans, bro. And you're shocked? You're fucking shocked that they're talking pro wrestling? You can't be the hero and the fucking victim. You can't play both roles. Which one is it? Nobody's hating this shit. Get it through your heads. It's not just CM Punk. I see this all the time. If you hate it, you don't like it, don't watch it. It's no different than your favorite sports team. No, we don't like our favorite sports teams. 90% of the time plus. We don't give up. Yes, we bitch about it, we complain about it, we hope somebody's listening. We're hoping for better in the future. Baseball terms, I've been pretty fortunate with my Yankees, but even them, since 2009, we haven't been making the right calls. A few good ones. Calls to put us in a position to win something, but never really World Series. It's going on almost a decade since a decade it is. It's 2019. That was 2009, our last one. And before that, you're talking about 2001 was our last championship. So even a Yankees fan, there's so many more years, we don't know what the fuck this team's doing. Don't get me started on my Knicks. Or how about the Hartford Whalers? Let me put it in hockey terms, CM Punk. Do you even remember the Hartford Whalers? That's a team that doesn't even exist anymore. They came back under a new identity, obviously. But the Hartford Whalers, one of the worst teams of all fucking time, won 0 Stanley Cups. Nobody ditched them. People stayed a fan until they had to fucking leave. The fans didn't leave them. They left the fucking fans. One fan responded to CM Punk and he said, "It's called passion and holding out hope that something that used to be epic will be that way again." And Punk responded to this fan saying, "It's called Stockholm Syndrome." No, CM Punk, Stockholm Syndrome is AJ Lee right now. Oh, mic drop. Fucking A, brah. That's Stockholm Syndrome. Then CM Punk said, "Imagine going to the movies once a week to see the same movie you hated last week. For years doing this." Again, I bring up the sports shit, bro. Your Cubs, CM Punk, before they won the championship, that was your Cubs for like 100 years. They play 162 games a year, and for 100 fucking years, they couldn't win a championship. You kept coming back. The Toronto Raptors before they finally won a championship. My Knicks. As I said, the Hartford Whalers. People aren't just going to give up. It's not like a movie you saw last week. Well, actually, WWE Raw basically is redundancy, yeah. So I guess in that retrospect, it is. But people that love it, not hate it, the opposite of hate, people that actually love this company and this business, we don't give up, bro. If you can't take the critiques, if you can't take the negativity, if you can't take the criticism, you get off social media and you don't gotta fucking see it anymore. There's a concept. You truly want to leave pro wrestling, but you kept your CM Punk Twitter handle with your 90+% following of pro wrestling fans, and your mind is boggled of why everyone's talking about pro wrestling, even when you said you don't want to do it anymore. I took my ball and I ran home with it. I'm playing with my ball in the parking lot, and sometimes my wife AJ comes out and plays with me. Nobody gives a fuck. You're on a wrestling Twitter handle now, baby. It's CM Punk is the name. You left at the pinnacle of your fucking stardom career. You got a company coming up. They're going to hand you millions of bucks. You ain't got to work fucking more than 2 days a week. You can't even come in the middle of a ring and say, "What's up?" to your fans. Thank you for all of these years of support. You can't even do that, bro. But when a big signing comes along, CM Punk is right there to do the autographs, or so you buy his t-shirts, buy the autographs, take the picture, hand him $25. Oh, he'll collect money that way. That's attached to pro wrestling, though, CM Punk. But you want nothing to do with pro wrestling until the money really comes along. When shit dries up for Punk and money gets tight, I wouldn't doubt he signs with AEW. Because that is where the money is. But bro, don't tell people that are still passionate and love this shit, don't like it, don't watch. And don't get it twisted. If you hate it, why do you watch? We don't hate it, bro. There's a big miscommunication, failure to communicate, and to think that people like the Amplified Man hate pro wrestling, hate the WWE, or specifically, bullshit. Major bullshit. And I'm calling you out on it, bro. Smarten up, Punk. You gotta realize You're smarter than that, I know it. You got to realize what people are going to talk to you about. And you got to realize love and passion from hate and misery. It's like our favorite sports teams. We go through the misery. Fuck yeah. There's times you want to put your head to a fucking cement wall multiple times a Monday night. We stick with it, bro. We love this. It's been with us since the time we were fucking kids. We're not just going to let it go. It's another fucking sports team type atmosphere that we love. It's not just another TV show. If Grey's Anatomy gets fucking stupid and bullshit, you can stop watching it. Right? If The Simpsons got fucking stupid, The Friends, fucking Breaking Bad, Mad Men, 2.5 Men, King of Queens, whatever your fucking favorite show is. Empire, Game of Thrones, if it gets stupid, you can just stop watching. Pro wrestling is more than that, and you know that. It's unlike anything in the world. But most pro wrestling fans are sports fans, and we treat it as such. We're not just going to give up on it. I hope this helps, CM Punk. This isn't supposed to be shade to you. It really isn't. I don't got beef with you. I really don't. I'll buy you a fucking coffee, and we can settle our shit in Starbucks or out in the parking lot. It doesn't matter. But the bottom line is you need to know where pro wrestling fans are today, more specifically ones that want to see WWE succeed, not fail. And it's important that people start realizing we don't hate it, we love it. That's it. That's my response to CM Punk's question that he raised to everyone, but because I was blocked, I couldn't participate, so hence this video. Let's move on. Alright guys, so before I get to the 24/7 chaos that happened and ensued at Drake Maverick's wedding, and the Stomping Grounds card, which again, we're all taking a trip to the dentist together, basically. It's going to be miserable. It's going to be painful, but we're going to preview Stomping Grounds. That's all to come in a little bit on this very podcast. I did want to give you guys a little bit of an update on the Lars Sullivan video that I put out yesterday. If you guys didn't know, yes, I put up a video yesterday, mostly to do with Lars Sullivan. If you didn't check it out, it'll be in one of the corners to the right or left of me in the last 20 seconds of this video. So just click on the box to the left or right of me. There'll be a box. It'll be Lars Sullivan's mug. Click on that, and that'll be the video I put out yesterday. It was instantly demonetized for no real good reason, but then the more I thought about it, it's probably because I had Lars Sullivan's mug on it. After a few hours, they decided to monetize it, but by then, it was a lost cause. But it doesn't fucking matter. I just thought it was funny that Lars Sullivan, the first time I ever put this guy on on a thumbnail, instantly fucking demonetized. Try again. This guy will scare children. Can't monetize that, BC. Anyway, I put that up, and if you guys didn't hear, if you've been living underneath the rock, this guy's injured. And I went over in that video, it's not just bad luck. I don't know if it's bad luck and karma or just wasn't meant to be all rolled up into one fucking ball. But this guy, I mean, right when he starts to gain any momentum, I don't know if he ever got momentum, but once he gets to the main roster and he starts these vignettes and they start giving him this push, all these comments came back from back in the day and all of these, I don't want to get into it. Not so nice comments started resurfacing. And then all of a sudden, his debut is halted because he starts having these panic attacks or anxiety attacks. So he starts having these mental issues. And then, when he does debut, finally, there's a disconnect with the crowd. So then that's more onto his plate. That's just not going right for him. And then we come to find out he has an injury. Already, he's only been around a couple of months at most, and he's only dancing around with 3 little dudes in the Lucha Summer College house party. How the hell is this guy getting injured? Nobody knew, but they were hoping it was just a minor injury. Then they find out it's a major injury, and that he could be out 6 to 9 months. We're talking 2020 by the time he comes back. Next year. So, call it bad luck, call it karma, call it just not meant to be. But this motherfucker, he just can't catch a break. And so I put up that video yesterday. I now can, 99% confirmed. I'm still trying to find out more information. But what we know from reputable sources, I can 99% confirm that not only is he going to be out the rest of 2019, but that he's already went in and he is out of surgery. So unfortunately, it was the worst case scenario for WWE and especially Lars. He did have to go for surgery. Apparently, he already went in and he is out of surgery. But unfortunately, he is going to be out the rest of 2019 at least. And I raised a pretty big question in that video yesterday, didn't I? I'm not going to go over it again right now. But I raised a pretty significant question. And the result of that question, if it goes one way, the totally other side of the spectrum, the result could be, that's the last time you ever see Lars Sullivan in WWE. Remains to be seen. I asked a few questions in that video. Definitely check it out. But that's the latest update on Lars Sullivan. Hey, listen, man. However you feel about it, dude, you never want to see somebody get injured. So we wish Lars Sullivan nothing but the best. A speedy recovery, whether he comes back to WWE or not. A speedy recovery. Change your life for the better. Do good. Do more right than wrong. Do more better than worse. And if you do that on a daily, consistent basis, you'll be a good human being. And all of your wrongs, your wrongdoings, your faults, all of your sins, you know, you can correct them by showing people what you're doing. Not just what you're saying, but how are you going about your life differently. And you know, once you start doing that consistently, people that once dragged you through the mud, swept you under the rug, casted you away, maybe those people will say, hey, you know what? This dude actually changed his life around. Not fucking bad. So no matter what happens, I hope Lars Sullivan takes this time and really gets in touch with Dylan Miley. Not Lars Sullivan, the character, the person that plays the character. Dylan Miley. Really get in touch with who the fuck he is and show everybody when you come back, if you do, or whatever journey you're on after your injury, even if it doesn't include WWE. Hopefully you go about it in a way where you're showing everybody like, dude, I said stupid shit. I did stupid shit. We all do. Look at me now, motherfuckers. I'm better than ever before. That's hopefully what Dylan Miley does. So I'll stop it on that, guys, on that segment, and that's all I have to say about that. The only other thing I can say is if he does come back, they have to revamp his character because there was that aforementioned disconnect. This has nothing to do with comments he once made. This has nothing to do with his mental state and having anxiety. People have anxiety. People have some mental instabilities. Some people have issues. You know, Mauro Ranallo is open about his mental state, and he's an advocate about, you know, that type of thing. And he goes to work just fine in NXT. It's a struggle. Daily, it's a struggle. But he's one of the best in the business. So you can have issues and still be within WWE or anything you choose in life. But if there's a disconnect, and the crowd just doesn't give a fuck about you, and you're not connecting with the crowd, in a company, in a business like pro wrestling, in a company like WWE, that's where the real issue lies as well. So if he does come back, do you just parade him out there like the Lars Sullivan we knew in 2019? Just another Gene Snitsky type character, or John Heidenreich. We've already seen characters like that and they didn't connect. I raised these questions just like I did in yesterday's video for a reason. I want to see Dylan Miley succeed. I want to see Lars Sullivan be something. Be somebody. But you got to do more than what you're giving us. Let's move on. Alright, so Amp Unit, next I want to talk about the 24/7 title. Because again, literally, roughly a half an hour before I started, if even, before I started filming this podcast, I saw the footage of RTruth pinning Drake Maverick at Maverick's wedding. Something that I pitched from the beginning because I envisioned it. And I actually gave you guys my live reaction over on the Twitter machine. So the very first time that I actually viewed it, right before filming this, that's up on my Twitter machine. I gave you guys my live reaction. I loved it. It was literally as I said it too. Like literally when he gets pinned, he has to look at his wife and say, "I'm sorry, honey. I love you. I gotta go." And he chases RTruth instead of walking out with his new bride. because it shows you how passionate he is about getting that championship. I just fucking love this. The only thing that I don't like is that this wasn't on TV. This wasn't on Raw or SmackDown. This was something that should have been prolonged over several segments, because it could have been really cool. I'd rather see that than these backstage nonsensical interviews that don't progress anything. You got Truth kind of showing up to the wedding. You know he's there. You don't know when he's going to attack. Drake Maverick is being calmed down. People are telling him, don't worry, we got eyes on all areas and exits. Nobody's going to be coming in. Truth will not be coming in for his championship. This wedding will go off without a hitch. You know, you could have made this 5 or 6 different segments throughout a night, and that keeps people kind of captivated as to the backstage segments. And once we leave the ring, instead of, oh boy, here we go, another stupid interview backstage. No, this is like, oh shit, is Truth showing up in this segment, or what's going to happen here, man? Is it going to be like at the altar? Is it going to be when they're getting in the just married vehicle and Truth is the driver? You don't know. You know, it just it keeps the suspense up for something even as little as the 24/7 title. Something as little as a joke, a sideshow. But it can raise suspense and raise and pique your interest. So I think this absolutely should have been done on TV. But man, are they getting those fucking online views, man. And again, that translates. I hope Vince realized that translates to your product on screen. I'm not saying it's going to bring in hundreds of thousands of new viewers. Shit, nothing can do that right now to WWE. So you can't put that kind of burden and stress on the 24/7 championship. But it absolutely translates in terms of interest. Right? I mean, you see the views it's getting on social media. Well, those social media people, those are WWE fans that are watching your product. You're going to pique their interest. They're going to come to your product on their TV, on their fucking tubes, and they're going to want to see that shit progress on a bigger scale, on a bigger stage. So that's why I say what you're seeing online absolutely translates to the TV product and the 24/7 championship. And I think it's a matter of time once they start seeing how big these numbers are getting that you're going to start seeing more of these type of scenarios on TV. I wish this was one of them. But I loved how it was done, man. You had everybody in attendance there. You had Matt Hardy and his wife, Rebby Sky, and their children. You had Zack Ryder in attendance. You had Tyson Kidd in attendance. So a lot of WWE personnel was there, and wrestlers were there. So it was like the place to be. They went all out because it's Drake Maverick's actual fucking wedding. So obviously. So I love how they added this into an actual wedding. I loved everything about it. He had his beautiful wife there, man. She is stunning. Drake Maverick, you have scored a forever touchdown with that young lady. Unreal. And then all of a sudden, as they're walking away, they just got pronounced husband and wife. They're walking away, and referee Brewer, I think is who it was, he stops them. And you see, he's got his fucking uniform on and everything. And Drake Maverick's like, no, not at my wedding. Not at my wedding. And before he can even get it out a second time, RTruth is already rolling him up from behind. Referee Brewer's got it 1, 2, 3. As Truth is standing up, he strips Maverick from the championship, because that's another little caveat that we had. As Maverick was getting married, he had his 24/7 title on. And that is why I love Drake Maverick now. He plays that character literally 24/7. And when you think of the larger-than-life characters, I'm not saying Maverick is in Hulk Hogan's category or Austin's category. I'm not saying that. But when you think about characters that you love, it's the ones that were them or their characters 24/7. Ric Flair never really came out of that character. Ric Flair was Ric Flair 24/7. Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, Austin. You could go on and on. They were that character 24/7. You know, and Maverick playing that on social media 24/7, it adds that extra layer. Like, he really wants this shit. And this is the type of shit that will captivate you when you can believe in it. So I love Maverick getting married in the 24/7 strap. Truth rips it off of him after he defeats him. Truth runs off. And this is the best part. Maverick looks at his wife, First of all, while he's getting up, he's screaming, "This is my wedding, this is my wedding." But as he stands up, he looks at his wife and he says, "I'm sorry, honey, I gotta go." He storms off. Instead of going this way with his wife, he storms off this way with RTruth in hot pursuit. Kudos. And I'm not one of these egotistical you see these YouTubers when something happens that they said should happen, and then they make a video the next day, they're like, "Well, just as I said, everybody's watching my video, clearly, WWE is watching me." No, I'm not saying that shit, bro. I'm not gonna stroke my own ego on that shit. That was laying in their lap. That's what should have happened, and that's what did happen. The 24/7 title leaked into Drake Maverick's wedding. It was sitting in their lap. Anybody with a brain in their don't piece would tell you if that was a main focal point of them all being trapped in the elevator 2 weeks ago, and a big focal point was Maverick's wedding, and then last week on WWE television, he defeats RTruth, drives off with the referee's SUV, and screams, "I have a wedding to go to." All of the story was pointing to one event, Maverick's wedding. So I'm not going to take credit for that shit. It's what should have happened, and it did. I'm just glad it did. Again, I wish it went on TV. You could have extended that 6 fucking segments, and I promise you that would be the most entertaining shit of Monday Night Raw. Easily. So, I did want to comment on that, guys, because you guys know I love the 24/7 title. I love what RTruth and Drake Maverick have been doing with this championship and what they've been doing with their characters. It's like a new lease on life with their characters, and I love it. And again, just seeing that before filming this I had to speak on it. That was so fucking awesome. And I hope they keep doing really cool things in the future with this championship. That's what it's for. To bring the fun, to bring the pulse back in an otherwise lifeless, dead, boring show. We need shit like that. It's time, guys. I mentioned at the top of this podcast show that what I'm about to speak about is like going to the dentist. It's going to be painful. It's going to be misery. This is the Stomping Grounds official preview. Sorry, it has to be done. Doesn't even deserve its own show, its own preview video. This is just going to be a part of the podcast because most of this card is literally just rematches and or shit. We just don't know why it's happening because nobody cares. I've never seen a pay-per-view card look like this. Where literally every match I'm questioning. Start from the top. You got New Day versus Owens and Zayn. Why? We saw this twice before in the last 2 weeks. Just this week. What am I saying? Monday we saw Owens and Zayn in the New Day. Tuesday we saw Owens and Zayn in the New Day. How many more times do we need to see this? So now we're getting it at a pay-per-view network special? Roman Reigns is taking on Drew McIntyre. A rematch from their 10-minute WrestleMania match. Drew McIntyre talked a big game. He talked about all this shit he's going to do to Roman Reigns. And then in 10 minutes, he got beat cleanly at WrestleMania. We gotta see this at Stomping Grounds. Bayley will be defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Alexa Bliss. Problem with that is this is just a rematch from their Extreme Rules match a couple years ago, and that is one of the worst matches I've ever seen in WWE history. Extreme Rules match at Extreme Rules, Bayley and Alexa. It's one of the worst matches I've ever seen. You don't believe me? Go back and check it out. So I'm hoping, the bar is set really low. I'm hoping this just goes above that, and I guess beggars can't be choosers. Get it done within 10 minutes and get the fuck off the screen, maybe. I don't know. Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans. This is a rematch from Money in the Bank just a month or two ago. And that was a clean loss, Becky over Lacey. So why the fuck would anybody have to or need to see this again? Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler for Kofi's WWE Championship. This is a rematch from Super Showdown just a couple weeks ago. Rollins versus Corbin. This is a rematch from just a couple weeks ago. Super Showdown. This is for Rollins Championship again. Not only a rematch from a couple weeks ago at Super Showdown, but a rematch in six-man tag fashion all of 2018 into 2019, it seems. So I've seen these two in the ring so many fucking times. So I hope you guys see what I'm saying here. This is what I mean about lack of interest in building excitement. You're just giving everybody matches they've seen already, and either they didn't deliver or there was clean victories, so there's no need for rematches. In Dolph Ziggler's case, you can say it wasn't clean because there was slight interference by Xavier, but come on, bro. Dolph just shows up 2 weeks before Super Showdown, gets handed a championship match, loses the match, and then gets handed another championship match. Steel Cage isn't going to do anything for me. You better have a lot of tricks up your sleeve and in your rabbit hat to make this turn out to be epic. Not just Dolph and Kofi, the entire card. Also on this event Sunday, Stomping Grounds, you're going to get Samoa Joe versus Ricochet for Samoa Joe's United States Championship. My problem with this is you got two guys that cannot afford to lose this match. Both guys need to look strong and need to win. The problem with that is there can only be one winner. If Samoa Joe loses this match Sunday, that is an absolute catastrophe. If Ricochet loses this match Sunday, that is an absolute catastrophe. So why are they in there together? Are you going to give Ricochet a championship after making him look like a bum for 2 straight months, and then all of a sudden you throw him a championship? Samoa Joe has looked like a bum all of his WWE main roster career, and since he's had the championship, he's looked like more of a bum. So does he finally get a big win here, and what does that do for... That's what I mean. Neither of them are a yin to a yang. They both can't afford to lose this match. They better get real creative. They trapped themselves into a corner. They put themselves into a pickle, and now they have to find their way out. Daniel Bryan and Eric Rowan are taking on Heavy Machinery. Heavy Machinery got a couple weeks of TV time. They got some wins over jobbers. Now all of a sudden they're in a tag team championship match? That's what I mean. The tag team division is so fucking weak that even though we like Heavy Machinery, it's hard not to like them. You gotta question how they're already in a championship match. And you also gotta question, are they really gonna beat Rowan and Daniel Bryan, or should they? Probably not. This whole title run for Daniel Bryan and Rowan was for what? To lose to Heavy Machinery and an event called Stomping Grounds. I highly doubt it. Then again, maybe that would be a fucking blessing in disguise. Get Daniel Bryan away from this bullshit. Daniel Bryan, that's right, listen to my words, listen to the name I'm about to announce. Daniel Bryan is basically an obscurity, and that's even with a championship. He's a secondary factor or a non-factor. He's on the back burner. He's an afterthought. And he's Daniel fucking Bryan. That should not be the case. They need to start doing more with him, not just being tied down in a tag team. Tony Nese, obviously, and the Cruiserweight Champion. That's probably going to be a pre-show. I'm not even going to fucking touch on that. So that's your Stomping Grounds card. I can't even talk about anything else, guys, because there is nothing else. There's the special guest referee during Rollins and Corbin. Who's Corbin gonna choose? But that just makes me fucking... That irks me right from the beginning, because why does Corbin get to choose who the referee is? What earned him that right, and who made that call? It's bullshit. And then on top of that, it's most likely gonna be somebody like, oh, I don't know, Brock Lesnar? So does Lesnar walk out of Stomping Grounds as the new champion? Or does he look like more of a clown, right? He showed up the Super Showdown and looked like a complete joke. Shows up like a badass, and in 4 minutes, Seth Rollins is destroying him. And Brock Lesnar runs away, briefcase in hand, like Braun Strowman would cradle his lunchbox. Come on, bro. So if Lesnar does show up, you can't make him look like a joke and a clown more than you did Super Showdown. Again, you set the bar so low at Super Showdown, you gotta think Stomping Grounds can only do a little better at worst. But I don't know. This card is drastically horrible on paper. I just hope it doesn't become more drastically horrible when they actually put on this show. I'm hoping the boys and gals, nothing but the best. I'm hoping they go out there, they put their best performance on. When that red light goes on, I hope they bring their A game. I hope safety and security is forefront, but I really do hope that creative more than anything gets creative, does their job. and gives us some shit on this pay-per-view that is making it worthy of the name pay-per-view or special network event, whatever they want to call it, I hope it is worthy of such a name. The superstars can go out there and give their best performances, but if creative and booking gives them shit to go out there and perform with, then I don't know how they can even save the day with their performances. Everyone has to bring their A game, and that includes those dipshitted suits and ties. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm the Amplified Man. This was the 21st ever Amplified Pro Wrestling Podcast. Until next week, guys, maybe there'll be an impromptu video this weekend. I don't know. That's why you stay subscribed and notified. But until next weekend, we will for sure be doing the Stomping Grounds Good, the Bad, and the Ugly review show on Monday morning. That's a full review, and I'm not going to hold back any punches. On Tuesday morning, we got the Raw review. On Wednesday morning, we'll have Tuesday's SmackDown show, and that'll be that review. So, big videos coming up after the weekend. But again, this weekend there could be an impromptu. You never know when the Amplified Man's gonna get amplified when the red light is on. For now, yeah, check you, baby.